And I said, take her to Arnold Palmer Hospital. We lived right there. And I said, I'll be there as fast as I can. So instead of going to the terminal, I made the U-turn, which is interesting because my life, literally, I made a U-turn, and my entire life, my entire universe also made a U-turn.
Hey folks, I'm Brooks Derrick, and this is A Lawyer, His Friends, and Food. A show about local business owners, their journeys, and the thing that brings people closer together, food. On today's episode, how Kenworth Reeves and a couple friends, after 5 years of blood, sweat, and prayers, opened 13 Stripes Brewery to a crowd of over 5,000 people. Kenworth was born and raised in Orlando, Florida, and as you will hear in this episode, he spent much of his life following the fun and finances. He owned an entertainment company that was known for cultivating brand experiences, throwing some of the biggest parties Orlando ever saw. And he made a great living working with his father in the roofing business, chasing hurricanes and huge storms all around the country. But a near tragic accident changed the trajectory of his life. So how did Kenworth Reeves go from a party promoter in Orlando to a devoted husband, father, and entrepreneur in Greenville? Let's find out over some pizza and pimento cheese from the Fair House. Here we go. Tell me where you're from.
Orlando, Florida.
How old are you? Are you close to my
39.
age? 39.
I'm making the turn.
46.
Okay. Oh, you look good, man.
Thank you.
Wow. What's the secret?
Young wife.
Yeah. Nice. Nice.
You're welcome, honey.
Yeah. That's amazing.
I didn't know what else to say there.
Yeah.
But that's the answer,
perfect.
right? So how old are your kids?
Kids
Fast
are,
forwarding a little bit.
yeah. So 16 to 4. I have 5 kids. Yep.
So I have a 3-year-old,
Okay.
1-year-old, and one will arrive in February.
Oh yeah, you're in it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I had 3 in diapers at one point.
Yeah.
Wild.
Luckily, my 3-year-old is potty trained.
Good.
And if my wife has anything to say about it, my 18-month-old will be potty trained probably before the next kid shows up.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Or at least not pooping in his pants.
Yeah.
I'm reading all this stuff. I'm wondering, like, okay, I knew you were in Indiana or Indianapolis. I'm like, okay,
Yep.
well, how did he go from Florida to Indianapolis? And that's this is what these kind of conversations. This is the meat of LinkedIn, right? Like,
Yeah.
all the Googling I can do, I can't find the story between the things, right? Like,
Yeah. It's a colorful past.
yeah. And what are we drinking here?
This is a Not My King. It's an American lager. So we said, what if we just brewed a really great craft Budweiser? You know what I mean?
Okay.
Just a full flavor lager. And we were sort of joking. And we said, we'll have fun with it. We'll call it Not My King.
That's good.
Right? Like,
that's good.
Like
I was like,
the king of
Budweiser.
beers. Right.
Okay.
And we brewed it one time and put it on tap, and people loved it. And they're like, "Oh, you have to keep brewing that." We're like, "Wow, we weren't really good to do lagers because they're harder, they take a longer time, they're more expensive,
Yep.
they're tough to." And then people wanted to keep going. Long story short, it's our best-selling beer. And again, total
On a
fluke.
whim, yeah.
On total, we were just kidding, and it has actually turned out to be.
Well, cheers, my friend.
Cheers, my friend. Nice to meet you. This
Nice
is
to meet
fun.
you too. Ooh.
Yeah, it's crisp. You know?
Yeah. Oh, I could drink a lot of that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, now I can taste the lager at the end of
Yep.
it. Oh, that's nice.
Thanks, man.
I like that.
Thanks. We'll keep them coming.
All right, so let me think. Dad's basically. Let me connect these dots here. So Dad's chilling in Florida.
Yep.
He has this opportunity for a job in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
That's right.
You know about this opportunity and you say, Dad, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to Pittsburgh and drop a buddy off. Then I'm going to drive to Fort Wayne. If you're there, we'll work. If not, I'm coming back to Florida. I'm going to the military.
That's right.
And I'm assuming you probably didn't have did you have a cell phone back then, or was that?
I think I had a Nextel. You remember those?
Nextel, yeah.
The walkie.
Oh, the walkie-talkie.
The walkie-talkie
Yes.
ones, because I was always in construction.
Yeah, that's right. You would have had that one. That's
Yeah.
right.
Nextel.
All right, so you get started in Indianapolis or Fort Wayne. What's your next step in that process? Do you work in Indianapolis for a long period of time, or Fort Wayne for a long time?
It was a long season, so really a year.
Okay.
I think is. It wasn't that big of a storm. It was a satellite office to my dad's office in Indianapolis.
Okay.
So worked there for the season, sort of fixed everything we could. It wasn't a ton of work. It was enough for a short, 7, 8, 9 months. Oh, what's up, Chef?
How we doing, buddy?
Oh, better
I
now.
love the chef jacket, looking good. Oh my gosh.
Goodness.
All right.
Gracious.
Holy shit, this looks delicious.
Hey, Joel.
Thanks, man. You good?
Thank you, man.
Happy holidays.
Thanks, man. You looking good.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah. Catch up later. All right, man. Sweet.
Holy cow.
Yeah. Now
This looks like how I would present it at home, right? I just plop it down.
Yeah. Now you're from South Carolina, right?
I am from South
So
Carolina.
you know all about pimento cheese.
Oh yes.
Okay.
We have a Derrick family recipe that my wife and I have perfected.
Ooh, okay.
So we're big, obviously, with this show premise, eating food with people.
Yeah.
I'm a huge food person. Cook a lot at home. Try to make good stuff. Not always successful. You cook?
I do not cook.
No cooking.
I'm like broken mechanically. I just
love it.
even my wife's like, you just gotta follow the instructions. I'm like, well, I don't. I'll sort of skip ahead, or
Yes.
I'll think I read it,
Yeah.
and then
It's the creative outlet for me at night that allows me to like flush the day.
Really?
Right? Like if or the weekend, it like keeps my mind off of all
Everything
the things
else.
that we wonder about as
Yeah.
business owners. Like it allows me to like. I would really like to paint or draw or something like that.
Meditative,
But you can't you can't pull away from your family to go to the back room to like draw a picture, right? But you can cook a meal. Everybody's running around you, tackling you, and you can cook and have that creativity and flush all of the shit from the week by making something delicious, or hopefully something delicious for your family.
That. See, I'm really good at doing dishes. I'm like,
I'm terrible at it.
See, I love, and it's actually very meditative for me.
Okay.
Because I just go to I'll wash dishes all night. I just get in this headspace where I'm just not.
I'm terrible at it.
Oh, it's amazing.
And so I got a funny story about dishes. So when I was a kid, my stepdad, my mom and my stepdad got married when I was like 6 or 7 years old. And I can't remember how old I was, but I played a prank. My stepdad always did the dishes at night. And I took my stepdad is like 6'4", he's like 250, he's like a big, big man. And I put a rubber band on the spray nozzle so that you rinse off the plates with, right?
Okay.
And so when he went to do the dishes, he flipped open the thing and it shot him in the chest.
Oh my goodness.
I thought this would be funny.
Yeah.
Turns out at that moment in time, it was not funny.
Oh my.
And I got in deep doo-doo. We laugh about it now. It's one of those things where you're like, it's funny in hindsight, but in the moment,
Not a great
you
idea.
got a dad, stepdad who's worked all day long.
Yeah.
Right. I can imagine what would be going through my head. Right. It's like, I've been working all day long. I'm doing the daggone dishes and this water. He's probably stressed out about something.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Like, it's things that you can't even fathom when you're a kid. And it was whoo.
Oh, I love that.
It was awesome. All right, so you're in Indianapolis. What's the next step after Indianapolis? Where you go from there?
I go to Orlando, Florida, because it's
Back
sort of
home,
seasonal.
okay.
So it's snow a ton up there. Really can't do a bunch of work. I mean, mostly what we did is roofing, siding, gutters, windows, things like that. But roofing was our main bread and butter.
There's a video of you, by the way, on Atlas YouTube channel talking about Atlas roofing.
Oh my gosh, that is right. Wow. I was on a hunting trip with those guys in Mississippi. Yeah, they put me under the lights and made me talk about shingles.
I was looking for stuff. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. He's just talking about Atlas roofing.
I need to look online. I kind of forget about all this stuff.
People don't know. Now here comes the fun part: eating and.
Yeah.
people don't know all the stuff that they put out there.
Yeah, that's wild. You sort of forget. The internet does not forget.
No, the Wayback Machine.
The Wayback Machine. That's a little scary. Yeah.
We're very scary.
Hey, check that out.
Yeah. You can see what all you wrote back in the day.
Yeah. I don't know. That's kind of like reading your old journals and diaries. Like, I don't know if I want to read that stuff, you know?
When I found it, I was like, this is going to be great to show him. All right, so you come back to Orlando. What's the next? At this point in time, other than some odd, like maybe lawn mowing and things like that, you're a one job kind of guy. You're like, okay, how do I make money to pay the bills? I go to Lowe's. I get work with Dad. You're kind of stacking jobs back to back to back at this point in time, correct?
That's right.
So what do you do when you come back to Orlando? More construction work with Pops, or?
What was I doing? You know, really, I didn't really know what I was going to do. You know, I had made solid money. You know, I love to surf, so I was, you know, I didn't really know at the time what I was going to do, but I got a phone call that changed my life forever, and that was my wife. Now,
Okay.
so she called me out of the blue on an old landline number. My grandmother lived with us. The school that I went to had my grandmother's number as like the directory because she answered the phone anytime it would ring.
Yeah.
And again, pre-internet, pre-Google, like there's no way to really find. My wife, now Allison, calls me. I sit down. It's like my first dinner home. I'm with my family. My dad's out of town. I'm sitting at the head of the table. My grandmother's to my right. We just sat down, food on the table. The phone rings. She gets up, she comes back and she goes, "It's for you." Now I'm thinking, there's nobody, like,
Bill collector.
like who's calling my grandmother's phone for me? That doesn't even make any sense. And I said, "Well, who is it?" She goes, "It's an Allison?" Now, I had dated a girl in Fort Wayne named Allison. And of course, this is milliseconds, right? It's like, there's no way. There's no way she...
My dad
like,
says there's a guy in your brain going, nope,
Yeah.
nope, nope, nope.
Yep. And so that was in my mind. I'm like, well, it's got to be her. And turns out it was not that Allison. It was Allison Andrews, which is now my wife, invited me into a Christmas party.
What the hell? How does she know you?
We went to 4th grade together. 4th, 5th, and 6th grade together. So I moved from Texas. I moved back my senior year. I moved back to Orlando my senior year. Now, between those years, so I left like I was a pudgy kid. Like I was if I showed you a photo of my 7th grade,
You're like,
Kenworth, and my 9th grade, you were like, that's not the same.
you go from
It's not-
Kenworth to the Kenworth.
That's right. I love it. Yes. And so I'm back and I'm playing basketball my senior year. I play her school. I'm playing the homecoming game. We're playing her school. And you remember Freddie Prinze Jr.? Mm-hmm. That guy was good for me. So back when I had great hair like you, during those days, like people always constantly, I looked like Freddie Prinze Jr. That was good. That was a good thing. That worked well in high school.
Nice.
That worked very well.
Nice. Okay.
And I'm playing basketball, and there's some girls, and my wife would tell you the same story. Bella probably knows this. Girls come up like, "Oh my gosh, do you see that guy number 34? He's so cute. Looks like Freddie Prinze Jr." My wife's like, "What? Oh yeah, he's super cute." Blah, blah, blah. 2 minutes later, a mutual friend who also went to our old school together,
Okay.
a guy named Brian Dillon, was like, "Allison, do you know Kenworth Reeves is here?" She's like, "What? No way. Yeah, he's out there playing basketball." Who?
The
Number
handsome guy.
34. And she went, "Oh, okay." And then she and Brian conspired to get our old 6th grade class together. Wow. Crazy.
Okay.
So we all get together late senior year, and that's when it was electric with Allison.
Right.
But
This is before the phone call or after the phone call?
pre-phone call.
Okay, pre-phone call.
Pre-phone.
Okay.
This just set the tone for her to make
this
that
wasn't,
call.
So the phone call wasn't just like she was going,
Yeah,
that guy.
No.
Okay.
So like, it was
electric time.
It was electric, but she had a boyfriend. I was moving to Texas. Like it was just a vibe, right?
Okay.
And And we have a lot of mutual friends, and so there was a couple of connection points along the way. And she just decided to call me out of the blue on a whim to see if I wanted to go to a Christmas party that her company was having. And I said, of course. And that was it. That was in December. We were married the following.
Did she figure out somehow that you, I guess through friends and then networking, that you're back in town? Is that kind of the...
I don't think she even knew. I think she was just a total, don't know where you are, what you're doing, but I'm going to call.
I got to call Freddie Prinze Jr.
I'm going to call him just to see if he's available to go to a Christmas party with me. Damn.
That is really cool.
Man, we're
That's a rom-com story, right?
Oh,
That's
man,
like,
it's awesome.
that is awesome.
So we've grown on 19 years. Oh, we just had 19 years. We're on 20. Wow. I've known her since 4th grade. So just most of my memory,
Includes her somehow.
includes her, which is pretty awesome.
My grandpa fell in love with my grandma in the 2nd grade.
Oh.
So that's and he will tell you that he was in love with her since from they didn't have a lot of people in town, but still he was in love with her since he was in 2nd grade. All right, let's dive into this pizza here.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, now what is this? This one is what was this called?
Taylor Station?
The Taylor Station. It's got a bunch of stuff on it. Looks
Bunch of
like,
stuff.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Looks like we waited just long enough where it's not going to kill the roof of our mouth.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's good.
Oh, yeah.
Very thin crust. I like it. Still crispy. Well, they got a lot of that seasoning on the top and the cheese. That's what my wife does when we make pizza at home. She puts a little sprinkling on the top of stuff. That's
Oh,
nice.
yeah. You a spicy guy? You like spicy food? Oh, me too.
Now, I don't want to get lit on fire, right? I don't want to die.
Yeah, you like a nice. I don't like any of that nuclear, atomic.
Yeah. I'm not entering a competition,
No.
but I do like it spicy.
Yeah.
I like Thai food. Love Thai food. We make a lot of Asian food at home. We can't make it too spicy for my kids.
I'm going to invite myself over for dinner.
You
one
should.
night. They heard it. It's on record now.
We have a plan that maybe next year, after my 3rd baby gets here, we're building a house. Maybe do some cooking and bring the old guest back. And
Oh, that'd be awesome.
yeah, because I think he can cook too, apparently.
Oh, that's right. Wow.
So he's definitely probably better than me, but
Yeah.
I'll try my best to show him up. All right, so you meet your wife, start dating. When is this? This is 2001, 2, 3? This is pre 9/11, post 9/11.
Post 9/11.
Not to flippantly say pre or post, but that's usually a good flashpoint for people.
That is a
when you're-
flashpoint. Yeah, because that was when I was in Fort Wayne, and so yeah,
This is really good. I mean, this crust is like very
solid, right?
solid, sturdy, and it's tender too. I mean, it is.
Hand delivered by the chef himself.
I know, right?
How nice
With
was
the
that?
coat on.
VIP, man.
I could never get it this thin at home. I try like crazy. I'll have it what appears to be this thin, and it will still blow up like my lips. Like it's just like boom. I don't know what the secret is.
Best I can do is put it in the oven. It's just no talent in the kitchen. I'll make a good drink. I'll make you a
bad.
good old fashioned.
Hey, I'll cook you clean. It's a good
Deal.
Good partnership,
Deal.
right? All right, so we got early 2000s, I guess, right?
Yep.
What does your wife do for a living? What was she doing for a living back then?
She was.
How old are you? 22?
We were 20.
20.
No, we were 19.
19.
Sorry,
Holy cow, Batman.
19.
Okay.
We got married at 20. I wasn't.
Taking a drink at your own wedding.
Yeah, I did. But
Well, I'm sure.
I wasn't.
I get
supposed
the
to.
sense you're a fun guy.
Oh yeah, we're gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. This is good.
Really good.
crunchy. Now this is awesome. When pizza comes to the house, if they don't make it, I have to put it back in the oven on a pizza stone.
Yeah.
Get it crispy.
Yeah, me too.
This is good. All right, so get married 20. You work for Dad for the next few years.
On and off traveling.
Okay.
Didn't want to do it long term. I didn't. It was not a passion. It was not something I wanted to do. I love my dad. We did not work so well together. So there was a lot of tension there often.
That noise just calmed it, like
Yeah.
my whole everything. You ever hear a sound machine in your bedroom and it's like you don't think it's actually making any noise or anything, but when it goes off, your whole system just like goes.
Yeah, I'm the sound machine guy.
You are.
I am.
My wife is. I hate them.
I hated it. my wife loved it, and then I learned to. I used to sleep in total silence. Like I don't want any. I don't want a fan. I don't want anything.
Yeah, you have to have it.
Now I got fans and sound machines and.
Working off and on, Dad. What's your next employment journey? When do you?
I start. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. You got it.
So I'm in Indianapolis. I meet this guy. Ron Miner is a dear friend of mine. Since passed away, sadly. He was a DJ in town. He had a
in Orlando.
This is in Indianapolis.
Okay.
So I got to know him and be good friends with him and his team, and he just had a really cool life. I mean, knew everybody in town. He had tabs all over town. He'd walk in and people wouldn't want him to pay for stuff. He was just like a local celebrity, but he was deeply in the community. And I just, as a 24-year-old kid that loves to have a good time, I thought, oh, I could do this.
Yeah.
This guy just gets paid to throw parties and do big events for, big brands. I could do this. Big DJ stuff, big dance parties, big industry nights, all the.
Sounds like a great time.
Great time.
Yeah.
I'm like, Ron, you get paid for this? This is amazing.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna do this. And so we didn't call it mentoring back then, but that's essentially what he did.
Right. Okay.
And so I went on to launch an entertainment company in Orlando, Florida, where we did giant parties. We said, it made it sound real cute, like we were curating brand experiences. That sounds adorable, right? That sounds very marketable, and like what we were really doing is coming up with and dreaming up and
outrageous party ideas
and putting together and executing the most outrageous parties you can think of. I mean, shutting down blocks of Orlando, downtown, super soakers full of, Jose Cuervo and
That's amazing.
5,000 beach balls, like just crazy.
I need a super soaker full of Jose Cuervo at my house.
Oh yeah, that'd be a nice little addition to the show.
Right?
Little, yeah.
I like that. That's
So yeah, and brands would pay us to do this. I mean, we work with some of the biggest brands. I mean, Red Bull was a client. Scion back then was a very urban, car manufacturer. You remember Scion?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if they're still around.
I think they're still around.
Okay.
Do they make the little boxy cars?
Yeah. Yeah. Very urban kind of scene. They were a client.
How long do you do that? How long do you throw these parties?
A couple of years.
How's that? How was that on the relationship?
My wife is a very patient, forgiving, kind, gracious human. Because it's that lifestyle is defined by very late nights and even later mornings.
You're like, honey, I must sacrifice.
Yeah.
I have to stay at this club until 2:30.
Yeah, but we got through it, and then we did a transition, got into more art stuff, art events. We did we hosted what we believe is the first international graffiti conference ever.
I thought that was cool. I heard that on a podcast I think I listened to that you were on.
It was awesome. It was a space kind of like this, but we had 10,000 square feet of
Right.
wall space, and we had the best graffiti writers come from Germany, Puerto Rico,
That's amazing.
New York.
How do you promote something like that? How do you?
We were in all the right channels. And again, this is
Pretty real social media.
Oh yeah, there's no like
2005? 6?
something like that.
Something like that?
Yeah, 6 probably.
Yeah. So you go to all these parties. When do you transition from that to the next?
2008, when the economy tanked.
So the economy tanking is the impetus to go, oh shit, I need to find another avenue?
Because sponsors went away.
Right.
You know, instead of giving us $10,000 to do a party or 20, it
Here's
was like
$150 for your DJ.
yeah. It was literally.
Here's 6 cans of Red Bull.
We know we need
have
to
a good
keep
time.
doing something, but
Yeah.
we're not spending any money.
Right. Ooh.
So that was a natural transition into
Mm-hmm.
oh gosh, what do I do? I gotta go back to work. So I went back to construction. That was always my parachute. I knew that I could always go back to that.
So you go back to dad? Is that you just
Yep.
not really back to dad? That's the wrong way to say it, but like
Yeah, back to
your
work
job.
with dad. Yeah. And you know, I was a hired gun, really. I mean, I was a sales guy, so I could come and go as I please. And
How are you with money during this process? Like, do you understand cash flow? Do you understand? But you said a minute ago at the very beginning, talking about when you first moved to Texas, you're like, I needed a budget and say this is every single penny. Had you lost sight of that budgeting?
oh yeah,
Budgeting.
oh yeah.
The Kenworth was not a good budgeter, I imagine.
No, because
The Brooks wasn't either for a very long period of time. So
to the Kenworth, like this is the only thing that matters. So let's get another bottle. Let's do another thing. Let's go. Like it was.
I listened. There was something in this podcast that you did with the guy that you met in Florida, and you said something in that podcast that really struck me. It's like what you just said, similar to what you just said there. It was like the only thing I was worried about was like right now. There was no like no worry about the consequences of this decision. It was just, if this decision gets me fun, I want to keep making these decisions.
Yeah.
Which is how I lived my life for a very long time. So I was like, I like this guy.
Yeah. Like I remember that feeling.
Yeah. How do you realize that the shit's hit the fan, so to speak, with the recession? How do you, all of a sudden, is it just like money just dries up, or how's that kind of?
The whole scene dried up. So unless you were in a giant city, you know, New York, Miami, LA, San Francisco, nothing going on. So all the sort of sub-market money was gone.
Gone.
Yep.
So you transitioned, called dad, said,
Back to work.
need some help? Yes.
Back to work. End up in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Okay.
A little satellite office we opened up. You know, in the entertainment world, you know, you can pick up some habits, you know, that, and it's all fun and games, right? It's glitter and gold when, you know, it's 5,000 people, it's just, bah, bah. But then you end up alone in Greensboro, North Carolina, and there's no friends, there's no glitter, there's no gold, there's no DJs, nobody knows you.
No.
That was a hard, like, you know, to go from that life to like back in construction, up here, nobody knows me. It was not a good time for me.
Yeah, I bet.
So yeah, did that for a while, and then
You stay in Greensboro for a little bit of time, or do y'all
Stay in
are y'all still
Greensboro.
chasing still chasing the storms, for lack of a better phrase?
yeah, we did chase storms.
And you're moving. how many kids you got at this point in time? 2, 3?
Three at this time.
3 kids.
Yeah, 3 kids, small. They'd come with me for a little bit, and then they'd go back to Orlando, and
Okay.
I'd fly home all the time. I was always flying. Yeah, my life was definitely off the rails. I mean, it was a freaking train wreck.
Yeah.
And
I can only imagine living that life and then it like slamming closed without your and that not being your choice of like, I'm going to walk away from this crazy life because I want to be a grown-up, right? Which is, I'm not saying that you were not a grown-up, but I'm sure that's what my friends were saying about me.
definitely was not a grown-up. I don't think I'm still a grown-up.
I
I don't know
definitely
that
am
I'll
not.
ever grow up,
Yeah.
actually.
Yes.
I don't want to grow up.
Yeah, I definitely don't. As is obvious, we're
In my
drinking,
heart,
we're
anyway.
drinking beer on what's the day? A Wednesday?
Wednesday, yeah.
I definitely don't want to grow up. What's the next thing? What is the
Next thing, I end up, my life radically changes through a near tragic accident with my only daughter. And that's what I needed to wake me up.
okay? So up until that point, you're still crazy human,
Crazy.
making
Just-
poor decisions even in Greensboro.
And they were just beginning to compound. It was only a matter of time before my life was going to run off the rails, for sure. And I knew it, and I couldn't get out of it. I couldn't like shake it, and I know I needed to. And it took that accident happening that immediately changed my life.
A car wreck or what?
No, she fell off of a counter. She was sitting and I was flying from Orlando to Raleigh. I'm going through security. I'm on the other side of security. I'm putting my blazer on, and I see the little round, bucket where you have my BlackBerry. Remember those things?
Yes.
And my BlackBerry comes out, and it's my wife Allison. And I pick it up, I'm getting and she's hysterical, right? That telling me my daughter just fell off the counter, but she was just limp, turning purple, like discombobulated, not good for an 8-month-old baby. And I said, take her to Arnold Palmer Hospital. We lived right there. And I said, I'll be there as fast as I can. So instead of going to the terminal, I made the U-turn, which is interesting because my life literally, I made a U-turn, and my entire life, my entire universe also made a U-turn. And that walk from that phone call to the taxi, right? Pre-Uber, pre-Lyft.
So you're in the same town.
I'm in Orlando.
You haven't
I
left
hadn't left
town.
yet.
You were leaving.
To go to Raleigh.
Okay.
And that walk changed my life. That like everything that comes through my mind, everything that I'm wrestling with.
Are you going through that stuff, like going back over all the decisions that you're supposed to have been making up to that point, like beating yourself up as you walk to get the taxi?
Totally.
Wow.
And it's like, doesn't matter what influence I have, doesn't matter how much money I have, doesn't matter who I know, there's nobody that can help me right here. I can't talk my way out of this one.
Can't fund your way out of this?
I can't fund my way out of this one. I can't pay my way out of this one. There's nothing I can, all of this is just on me. And yeah, I jumped in a cab and, I'm a man of faith and I gave my heart back to the Lord in that taxi cab.
Whoa.
And I changed my whole life.
Wow.
Like broke down, lost it.
Oh. That is, I'm just trying to think about you, you've probably up to that point in time, you have probably been beating yourself up about all these bad decisions that you're still making. You probably not being very kind to yourself in that whole process, and you're walking out this thing on some level trying to blame yourself, and I I mean, it just, wow.
Yeah.
So you go to the hospital. What comes about from this, the fall?
She had just a fracture in her skull. They thought that she had some bleeding on her brain. She had some fluid that came out of her nose that was the protectant.
Okay.
The fluid between her brain and her skull.
Yep.
Not a good sign.
Not a good sign, no.
And so they're preparing you for all this. But what's fascinating is that it didn't matter what happened from that moment on. I was filled with complete peace. I knew no matter what, it's okay. No matter what. 2 days later, she just, she couldn't pick herself up on the crib. She was just out. She couldn't even, mama, dad, nothing was working. And I remember I'm sitting in the chair. She's on all these machines and monitors, and I remember Kate, she just, I don't share this very often. She just stands up and pulls herself up and just looks at me and just goes, Dada. It was like somebody in heaven just flicked a light switch. And she's amazing, she's beautiful, she's smart, she has everything in the world going for her. But it was that experience that rattled my cage so badly that I turned, and life's never been the same.
That is tragic and fantastic all at the same time.
Yeah.
I just can't. I'm just trying to take it all in a little bit.
Yeah.
So what, from that point, not from that point forward, but what are the small things that you start doing differently after that point?
I don't think there were any small things. I think I changed everything. I got out of the business. I left everything. I changed my phone numbers. I made massive action. I shut down that whole life. Literally disappeared.
So you're at that point in time, you're still working construction.
I got out of the business. I said, I'm done. I said, I got to get out of Greensboro. So I ended up in Huntsville, Alabama.
Had you made some terrible connections in Greensboro?
Terrible.
Okay.
And so I had to get out of there. I go to Huntsville. The economy's a wreck in Florida at this point, right? There's no...
at this point in time, hurricane hits, tornado hits, Kenworth goes, family doesn't go.
They'll come for months or, but not.
So it lends itself for the opportunity to be a very addictive situation of there is a very strong possibility to have a Kenworth life and the Kenworth life.
Right.
To use our
Sure.
Back to
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so this is fascinating. Change your phone number.
All of it, yeah.
Quit the job. Come home to Orlando.
Come home to Orlando.
And what do you tell the bride?
Well, so I came home. I stayed in Orlando for a little bit. And I'm like, wow, I got to go make money. So I go to Huntsville, Alabama.
Okay.
And I wake up one morning. I had a dream that I just knew I needed to come home. And so this is a Wednesday.
When you're in Huntsville, are you still working construction at this point in time?
I am.
Okay.
So I wake up that morning early, never forget it. I call my wife and say, hey, I'm coming home Friday. She's like, awesome, be great to see you, miss you, love you. And I said, no, I'm coming home, but I'm not ever leaving. I'm done. I'm hanging up my jersey. I'm getting off the road. And she's like, well, that's amazing, that's great, but what are you gonna do? How are we gonna make money? You know what I mean?
That's right.
Baby, I love you, but
That's right.
what are you gonna do? And it's crazy because it's on my heart was this lady I didn't know. I know you 100 times better now than I knew this woman. I just knew, I had heard that she wanted to do this big sort of, faith-based festival in downtown Orlando.
Okay.
On Lake Eola, in the amphitheater, my world. And the Lord just put on my heart, like, go help that lady. Go help her do that. And so I did. I said, hey, I know you don't know me, but I'm here. I'm going to help you do this thing that's in your heart for free, nothing. And just all the experience from my entertainment days.
You knew how to do all that
I know
stuff.
how to do it. And, but I didn't know anybody in church. I didn't know anybody. Like, my networks were, I had just erased basically.
Right.
Not erased. I put a bow, I put it in an old dusty box and I shoved it away.
Put a pin in there.
Yeah, gone. Close the chapter. And the only guy that I knew was a guy named Derrick Janey, who's in town. And I said, hey, Derrick, your dad's a pastor. I'm helping this lady do this event. It's pretty low budget, but big vision. And his dad ran a big church. I said, can I borrow some backline gear? Like just some musical gear for all the bands and stuff that we were booking. And he helped me out. And he had known me from the wild days, and he couldn't believe how my life had so radically changed.
In a short period of time,
Short period of time. So we do this event. It goes very well. After that event, he's like, hey, let's have lunch. And he's like, I don't know what you're doing or what you want to do or what life looks like for you. But he's like, you remember the organization my dad started called World Hope? I said, oh, yeah. He's like, well, we were talking, and we think you might be a great fit to help us tell our story. And so we're prepared to offer you a job, a position. And can you be in Kenya in 2 weeks? Like it just, and so that I worked for them and other nonprofits for a little over 3.5 years. Traveled all over.
Crazy thing of like those little like making all these little baby decisions, right? That I heard somebody say this other day, like increase the surface area of luck. Like you increase the surface area where luck can strike you, and the more that you make all these little baby decisions and help people and do these things, and bam, this catapult gives you a job that you are qualified for, but not on paper.
Oh my gosh, I'm in these board meetings with these guys and these long tables, and I'm thinking, God, these guys knew what I was doing 4 months ago.
Just not very long ago.
God, they'd execute me.
Yeah. Half of them would want to go along. But.
Yeah. But it actually kind of worked out because not knowing that world at all, I got to I didn't know what couldn't be done.
Right.
So I got to dream as big as I want without any sort of guardrails on my vision.
So let's open another beer.
Let's do it. Let's go for this guy. It's a little experimental.
If you make a pizza, you need a gigantic freaking pepperoni like this, right?
Have to.
Although Sidewall has these little baby pepperonis. Oh, they have big ones too. But those baby ones are like,
There you are.
And what is this one called?
This is a little side project, experimental. A hop crushed my mind.
All right.
Hazy tropical pale ale.
Okay. I like the can.
It's delicious. Yeah, a little.
I got to leave here with like all kinds of merch,
Swag.
by the way.
We'll hook you up.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, man. Pleasure.
I like that one a lot. That hoppy doesn't hang around. All right, so you spend the next 3 years of your life doing this nonprofit thing. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming excelling like crazy at it. When do you make the transition out of nonprofit? Because that next, when you go from the road from nonprofit to here, that's the next little. It's not the very next thing you do, but you started down a different path to becoming this guy, right?
Yeah.
What is the impetus to make that transition?
So there was a.
My grandmama would say you need to eat all of these celeries and carrots because that's your vegetables at this meal.
Got it. We'll do it.
She would always praise me when I would eat the carrot with the wings. You know, I'm so glad you ate your vegetables.
See, I love
honey.
the carrots and the celery with the wings.
So I'm sorry. Go ahead. So the next step out of.
Yeah, next step out. So I transition out. Well, number one, I was having my fourth child. So you realize really quick why it's called nonprofit. It's like, dude, it's just not going to work.
I heard you say this a couple of times.
Yeah.
They're listening and watching you.
Yeah, it's man. And so there was I had a really great position lined up with a really great organization. And really to us, to my family, it was going to be an answered prayer. I came back from a trip to East Africa. 4 of those guys kind of whining and dining a $1 billion organization, and come back, and the compensation package that I had created with the founder, there was a new COO in place, guy that I even brought on.
Okay.
And let's just say everything changed. And so what felt like an answered prayer, I come back from a long trip and realize, oh wow, this is what?
Yeah.
So it felt like a door
Yes.
slamming in my face. And I said, okay, I'm gonna hang up that jersey. And so I came back. I was like, man, I don't really know what I want to do. I don't know what direction.
Where are you living at this point?
I'm in Orlando.
Orlando still, okay.
I'm talking with my dad. He's like, I know you don't want to come back to, at this point, we've been in Greenville for a long time. We opened an office here.
Okay. We being dad, not we being you.
Yeah, and in fact, I came here for weeks kind of throughout. I'd come out and help him do some things.
Right, okay.
So I was familiar with Greenville.
Yep.
And he said, I know you want to do this. He's like, but why don't you just get away from Orlando for a minute? Just come up and buy yourself some time. Come work for the summer. He's like, there's a Allegiant Airlines. They fly,
Okay, yep.
$66. You can fly them on the weekends. I was just like, you know what? I'm going to do that. And came up here and just sort of worked, I'd fly
And you
home on the
had gotten
weekend.
to the point with your soul that was not a bad decision.
Not at this point.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
And
It's
so,
funny how you can make that commanding change of your person, right? Like how one thing at one point in time you couldn't have imagined living your life one way, right? Making decisions that would be beneficial to you as healthy, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'll just go to work and come back to the hotel or the condo we've got here and
Yep.
be fine, right? Like
Yep.
the way that I live my life now versus the way that I lived my life, say, 10 years ago, 8 years ago, this guy, I would have thought this guy was the biggest stick in the mud. Like I could have never imagined myself living my life this way in comparison to that other guy. So you'd made that transition. You were you're in a good place spiritually with your soul.
Yep.
So what happens up here? You kind of start liking it up here?
Start liking it. I had started a little company, kind of a commercial flooring and surface solution maintenance company.
Okay.
Called Clean Tech. If you saw any of that.
Yep, I've heard you talk about that somewhere in there.
Well,
2 years, 2.5 year
Yep,
business?
Yep, great little business. Me and a couple buddies. That thing was great. So that was my next sort of side hustle, venture, launch.
That's your first kind of soiree really into this is my business, right? Is that
Right.
that's the first little, like, except for maybe some, like we said earlier, like the lawn mowing stuff at the very beginning of your life when you're a kid trying to sell like candy bars and shit.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, whatever.
Yeah.
So like now it's a real side hustle, right? This is your first.
Yeah, I mean, the entertainment company was a real company.
That's right. I forgot.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm messing
that was
up.
that was my.
Yeah, that was your.
When I was 24, I didn't know
Yeah.
what the heck I was doing.
Right. That was literally, I'm finding the party to party.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I like to party.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. The fun we could have had, sir.
Oh, buddy. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So you're up here doing the cleaning business. How does that go? What's the?
That's going well. My partners are really running most of it.
Okay.
I was sort of on the heavy on the business development, relationships, and we had clients in Savannah and Newark and New York, and so it was fun. I mean, we were flying around and a lot of hospitality. So Hilton's and who else? Highwood's a commercial property management group. I mean, we're doing some big buildings. It was pretty fun. I'm still young enough to was like, this is awesome. Like, they trust us to come in here and do this kind of work, and so that's just kind of going. I come up here for the summer. I was gonna go back home and didn't know what I wanted to do. So I talked to my wife. I said, hey, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up, so why don't you just come up for the fall, bring the whole family, and we'll just do this working vacation. And we love Greenville. We'd spent some time here.
Okay.
I said, let's just do like a working vacation. Come stay in my sweet 2-bedroom apartment with 4 young kids. I was like, it'll be fun. And so they did, and it was amazing. It was one of the sweetest times in our life, and it sort of rewired our family's brain. Is how we sort of, I was busy, distracted. Dad that's coming in on the phone, not the guy I wanted to be. And I took this season in Greenville. It was about 8 months. These guys know I'm highly social. I love people. Yeah. I love meeting people. I could do this all day.
Me too.
Every day. And it just gives me, people are like, aren't you exhausted? No, it fuels me. It actually puts fuel in my tank. Yeah. But for those 8 months, I didn't do any of that.
That's 8 months from the family getting here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I spent time with my family. Like every morning, I'm home at 5.
Rewiring habits, right? Rewiring habits of who Kenworth's going to be, how the family's going to work.
That's right. And so what it did, it made us really cozy, we call it. And to this day, people that know, I mean, we're a cozy, tight family. And I really believe it's because the 8-month super intentional time where I sort of shut down part of who I am to really focus on my family, that, man, it changed.
Cozy's a big word in my family too.
Oh,
it's
we
our
love
big
it.
word.
Yeah. And so we're going to go home at Christmas.
Home being Orlando.
Home being Orlando.
Okay.
And it's like, man, I don't want to go home yet. So let's just stay. Then we rented a house.
Okay.
And it's like, well, can we move here? Can we actually leave Orlando, where we've always been? It's always been the anchor for us.
Right.
And so we just never left.
Yep.
We turned.
Damn.
It took us like 2 years to like really commit and even move our stuff up here. It took us forever. Wow. It was the slowest move ever, but I've been here 10 years now, just about, and
When does that move happen? What's the year that's finalized? That 11, 12? No, that's later than that.
Yeah,
13?
14
maybe?
Something like that.
When do you get the call? I think the next thing probably is you get the call from the buddy in the Navy, right? Is that the next big?
Yeah, so I started buying real estate.
So you start buying real estate before you get in touch with
about the same time.
What are the guys' names?
Michael Robinson.
Okay.
Yeah, he's back here.
You've known him since you were Orlando, right?
Orlando,
okay.
yes. And so yeah, I started picking up some really cheap just rental property, and I was just kind
Close
of
down the cleaning business closes, and you're just
Closes.
focusing on the construction business with Pops, right?
That's right.
And then you're dabbling as you're doing this construction. You're dabbling with real estate.
That's right.
Is it just your money, or you got other people's money, or is it just your money at that point in time?
Just mine.
Okay.
And then my dad and I
Okay.
for a while, and then because we don't work so well together, love you, Dad. I've gone off, and
Okay.
it's yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, started buying real estate, and then I get a call again that changed my life. And Michael called me just out of the blue. It's like, hey, I've fallen in love with the art and craft and science of beer, and this whole community. It's on the West Coast. I mean, this is 11 years ago. We didn't know what craft beer was, really. But he's in Monterey, California, stationed out there with the Navy.
Right.
So he's just in this whole like West Coast, craft beer experiential world. And he said, I really think it's going to continue to swell, and I want to be in the beer business when I get out of the Navy. And you're the first cat I thought to call. What do you think? And I'll never forget it, because it's a beautiful day, my sunroof's down. And I just remember it's like a visual checklist. Like, beer, check. Food, check. Space, venue, check. Family friendly, dog, it just sort of checked all the boxes. And I said, what the hell, let's just do it. Let's just open a brewery. And I said, if anywhere in the world, this little town you've never been to called Greenville, South Carolina. That's how it started.
Wow. What's the very first thing y'all do to get ready for this?
We start brewing beer. We start branding. We branded really early.
So he gets out.
He wasn't even out for a long time.
Y'all just play. Y'all are probably talking on the phone, playing around with ideas while these last weeks or months before he gets out.
Yeah, well, years. It was years.
Oh, years.
Years. We
shit.
start.
Okay.
Yeah. We start prepping, planning, looking.
So he's
building.
still. It's not like he's on the precipice of getting out and saying, "I want to start this brew when I get out." He's literally like making beer in the barracks. I'm making this up, right? He's making beer in the barracks, and he's like, "Hey, 3 years from now when I get out, let's start a brewery."
Yeah. And so,
wow.
And then as Providence would have it, he got restationed in Augusta, Georgia, which was amazing, right? So just 2 hours from here.
Right.
Comes up to Greenville, loves it. I said, yeah, yes. And we had no idea what we were doing. I call it, turning over rocks, man. We just kept turning over rocks just the whole way. Heard every no in the book. Should have never gotten this thing off the ground. We had zero clue. But we were, resilience is a muscle that, you learn to work out.
Yeah.
And it'll take you places. And so we were just ignorant enough, or stubborn enough, or determined enough, or resilient enough to get this thing off the ground, because we just wouldn't stop.
I think all of this is coming at the same time, so I'm gonna dive right into it. When does alopecia hit you in the face? When does the eyebrow fall off that morning? Like where is that in this story?
That's 5 years ago.
Okay.
So
are y'all at this point in time? You are still working construction, still dabbling in real estate.
Yep.
And y'all are playing. Or is he out of the Navy by then?
When I was dealing with that, I don't think so.
I'm trying to minority report it, where you're like, where's all the players here?
Yep.
But y'all are still playing around with the branding. We're getting ready. Trying stuff. I can't fathom what that would be like, looking in the mirror that morning and seeing the eyebrow. Like, where the hell's my eyebrow?
Yeah.
That story, like, it's one thing to say, like, yeah, I've got alopecia and I lost my hair. It's like, but at the moment in time when you're like, what the fuck is going on?
Where the hell is my
eyebrow?
Yeah, literally lost part of my. Now, just a small enough to where, you wouldn't notice it.
Right.
I noticed it, right?
The Kenworth noticed it.
Kenworth noticed it. And it, yeah, and that was the beginning and the end. So that was January. So from January to August, I lost all of my hair.
Do you go to the doctor right away?
Man, yeah, I tried to fix it. I'm like, is it diet? Am I drinking too much beer? Like,
Did you know what it was right away, or did you?
Yeah, by the time
Once you go, they're like, oh, this is what this is, probably. We'll run some tests. And
doctors, I went to holistic doctors. Maybe I have too much, I did toxicity tests, metal tests, everything. Trying to fix it and control it. And so, yeah, part of the journey for me was actually learning that I can't control it. I can't control everything. Can't. And so just letting that go.
You were a super duper handsome dude, right?
Yeah,
you still are, right?
Thank you.
I gotta imagine that was so hard on identity, and I just, whoa.
Yeah, that was the hardest thing I've ever personally dealt with.
Yeah,
for sure.
What's the self-talk like during that time? Like, what is that?
Oh my gosh, it's terrible. It's all the. You had 33 good years, man. Good luck. Because my look was definitely a part of my brand,
right?
My image, and my identity.
Right.
I didn't really know it.
Freddie Prinze Jr. player.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and then it was Adam Levine. Then it was, you know what I mean?
That's right. That's right.
Which is because now I'm like, hey, babe, you got to be with Adam Levine and Bruce Willis.
That's right.
Hey,
And Freddie Prinze Jr. when you were little.
So. It sucked. It was terrible. It was a horrible experience. It was very lonely.
Nothing that anybody can say during that time period makes anything better, I'm imagining, right?
Yeah, and so I retreated, and I ran, and I hid for a long time. Which, again, my personality, I don't run, and I don't hide, and I'm a man like of the people, with the people. I am with humans all the time. So for me to retreat from my community and then my family, that's when it got really dark for me. When I retreated from them, it was like, okay, this is.
Y'all had reached this, like, to use your word, a cozy life.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Cozy life. Things are moving very systematically well for y'all as a family at this point in time, right?
Yes.
When's the next BlackBerry? When is the BlackBerry moment, right? When's the moment where you go, when you're walking to the cab again and you pull yourself out? Is that a gradual process, or is that one day in the shower you just go get your head out of your ass? Is it, how does that go?
Yeah, it is a BlackBerry moment. It is.
Yeah.
It's funny. I was sitting at my island. It's probably, 1 a.m., something like that. Sitting at the island in my kitchen, and I'm strumming my guitar, and I've got just a glass of tequila, man, and I'm sad and banged up and lonely and depressed.
Yep.
I would say there's 2 times in my life I would have, looking back, 100% like depressed. Once was in Greensboro, and once was in this season where I retreated from everybody. Didn't want to see anybody. Didn't want to I was wrestling with this thing. And so one night I'm sitting there and I had just this epiphany of, I could tell my kids, they knew that, I could see the way they looked at me and just the energy, that they knew Dad was not doing well.
Right.
They knew Dad was pretty banged up.
Yeah.
But we've always talked about faith and hope and love and kindness and goodness and peacefulness and community and the power of what that means. How could I can still continue to 103 preach that. I can climb mountains when I can dirt bike. I can do all the things that I love to do and want to do. Crumbling under the weight of just simply losing some hair. And I didn't I sort of saw myself from my kids' point of view, right? So maybe it was an epiphany, maybe it was just the tequila. I don't know.
Yeah.
Either way.
Ate the worm or something. Who knows?
Yeah. I just said, I'm done. I'm effing done. I'm not running from this thing anymore. In fact, I'm gonna run so hard to it that I'm gonna hit it with everything I've got. And I literally went from not seeing anybody, no meetings, no interviews, no beers, no coffees, nothing. I'd work, I'd come home, I'd call it a day.
8 months, probably, right? Is this to
Yeah,
August
this is
or
probably
8, 9 months?
Probably 4 months in,
4
something
months.
like that. I opened my laptop and I just start banging emails. You know, hey Brooks, been a long time. Love to grab a beer with you. You know, let me know if these days work. Blah blah blah. Hey EJ. Hey. And what I did was I stacked my calendar so much, like everything.
Couldn't retreat.
There's no retreating. I forced myself to make massive action forward. And when I showed up and I look crazy, I get into some real deep conversations fast.
Yeah, quick, yeah.
And what I realized is people weren't laughing at me. They weren't pointing at me. They weren't not going to be my friend.
Right.
All the talk that's like, you know, nobody's going to want you around. You're not going to get any more deals. You're not going to get into that room or that show or that. Like, it's over. Then I realized that all that was a lie. In fact, these people love me more. They care more. And instead of meeting, and you know, often, particularly with guys, you sort of peer up, right? It's like, hey, what are you doing? Oh, I'm doing this, and I'm doing.
Yeah.
I had to come and say, these are my cards. I'm peering up. I'm going to actually show you the depths of my soul and the shit that I'm dealing with.
Right.
And we're gonna take it all the way down. And man, people would share stuff with me like I would have never probably known.
Right. Yeah.
Because then it wasn't like, oh. And I didn't have a perfect life, but if you just looked on the outside, I had a great marriage, great kids, businesses. I've got the looks, and now it's like I'm broken.
Yeah.
And I'm busted, and I can't hide from it. And that was a beautiful journey. In fact, it became so beautiful that had you told me in the middle of it, you know, hey, drink this and all your hair will come back, I wouldn't have done it. Because the depth that I experienced within my relationships in my community mattered to me more than that. And when I realized that, it just like unlocked something. You know, it's like playing a video game and you're like looking around for the box with the thing in it.
Yes.
And then you got like the old Zelda, and then you open another level. Like, I got to another level in my consciousness and who I am. And I realized for the first time ever who I truly am. And so I know 1,000% who the Kenworth is, right? Who you can't take it away from me. You can't take my arm, my leg, my family, my friend. Like, there's nothing that's ever going to take that away. And I got to learn that pretty early on with something that isn't going to kill me.
Yeah.
And so
it's a funny thing when you said that a minute ago, like, as you're telling me the story, I know I wasn't feeling exactly what you felt, but I've had this like overwhelming feeling of like I'm going through this experience with you when you were, let's say it's April of that year and you're sitting there with the glass of tequila. I can feel that feeling. And then when you said I'm just losing some hair, like it just like it, what a obvious thing, right?
Yeah.
But it just snaps you out of it like, oh fuck, this is hair.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
So let's pour one more beer before we go to the actual beer thing.
This is your call. This is a light lager, and this is a porter.
Let's go with the skeleton.
Let's do it.
The skull.
The broken crown.
Broken crown.
Which represents, obviously, it's the dead king, right?
Yes.
Budweiser. That's our constant. We're constantly.
I was thinking the dead king, like the King of England kind of king, but
Well, that's Because of the king and the whole revolutionary idea, there's
Yes.
plenty of.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right, so we got it. We're going to do a different glass.
Yeah, let's do that.
I don't want any beer mongers on the internet to hate on you because
Yeah. There you go.
I'll drink this one.
Yes, sir.
So let's get to you and Mike and these business partners of yours. Y'all get together. You start planning some branding. From what I can understand, y'all do a ton of individual or very small blocking and tackling of like pouring beer for anybody will have it before this space is a reality. Is that a correct assumption there, y'all?
Correct. Took us 5 years to get open.
What are the steps along the way? What were the when do y'all find out about this place? Maybe just put that as the backdrop and then let's back out of that.
Found out about this place early on, actually. It was the first space we ever looked at.
How old is this space?
Oh man, it's been here since 30s maybe?
How long was this place empty before y'all came in here?
There was some artists and sort of, like there's an HVAC guy. There was a coffee shop next door, which gave us hope that, okay, if a coffee shop can do it and make it, we could probably do this.
This is a destination. You're not
This is
just
a destination. And particularly 5 years ago.
You're not just driving down the road and go, oh, there's 13 Stripes, I'm gonna go grab a drink. You gotta pull off the main drag, come in here,
Yes.
make a decision. It's gotta be a decision to come to this place, right?
That's right. That's right.
So you find this place.
Find this place. It doesn't work out.
Cheers again.
Cheers, my friend. It doesn't work. In fact, Michael right there, who's behind you,
Yes.
my partner and I.
Ooh, that's really nice.
Yeah. We come look at the space, supposed to have a meeting. Girl we were supposed to meet with isn't here. Lady's on the phone, older lady. She's like, well, can I help you? I'm like, yeah, we're supposed to look at space. And she's like, well, what's your business? And at the time, we thought we wanted to be a brew pub, half restaurant, half brewery.
Okay.
And I said, oh, we're going to open up a brew pub. And when I said that,
She didn't like that.
oh man, it was like, flicking the hornet's nest and just standing there. So, yeah. Long story short, it wasn't going to work.
Right, okay.
We looked at all kinds of spaces. We had spaces engineered. In fact, we had a space in the West End near Ford Field.
Okay.
Done, ready to go. The owner had become a friend, and we never signed an LOI. We didn't do anything really official because he was just kind of cool. I was like, hey, don't worry, it's fine. Just, it's yours. And we spent money on the space. We engineered the space. We were meeting with the city. On a Monday, I get an email from my broker, or our broker, from his broker. That basically says, hey, we're going a different direction. We got a really great offer on this lease, and sorry. I mean, it was,
Damn.
like, are you kidding me? So it was a Monday. I called Mike. I said, did you see that email? He said, yeah, I saw that email. I said, we should be pretty pissed. He's like, oh, no, I'm pissed. He's like, no, I am pissed. I said, I am too. I said, but man, it's just not right. It's just not, that wasn't the right space for us.
Yeah.
And I said, man, if you just look at our journey, every door that opens, the next one every door that closes, the next one we enter is better.
Right.
Even though at this time, there wasn't a lot of, all the space that there is now, 5 years later, or
Right.
this is almost six and a half years later.
Okay.
Today, there's tons of great space. Back then, there wasn't. We had exhausted. We didn't even know where to look. And so we said, hey, man, let's just keep marching forward because whatever is out there, it's going to be right.
Yep.
That's on a Monday. can't make this stuff up. On a Tuesday, I get a message it's like, hey, Kenworth, I know you don't know me, but my name's such and such, and I'm one of the new owners of
That's who bought
Taylor's
this place.
Mill.
Okay.
And word is you were
That
sniffing around the
connects all the
space
dots. Okay.
years ago, and it didn't go so well for you, but we'd love to meet you, welcome you, support, like all of his language was so. Monday, our space falls through. Tuesday, we get a random Facebook message from this place, which was sort of our first love. It took years to come back to us.
And if he would have messaged you 2 days before that, you'd have been like, "No, we're good.
We
got
can't
this.
do it.
We're
That's right.
We're under this."
Even if we
thing."
wanted the space, we couldn't have just walked from that, holding that guy up. You know what I mean?
Right. You couldn't have done what he did to you.
Yeah. And so it's just total, I mean, we couldn't believe it. We met here like that Thursday or Friday, and here we are. And we couldn't be
What did it
more-
look like in here? Just
Nothing. Zero.
Empty.
The sprinkler system was in. That is it.
I think I read this place had been vacant for like
Decades.
since like '64 or something
Yeah.
like that. Like
Oh,
there
yeah.
was. That is, wow.
Yeah, we did. And we literally built this ourselves. And I say we loosely. I don't build that much, so I'm good at. It's funny being in construction forever. I'm the least mechanical human. So
You're good about you create business and direct traffic.
Yeah, let me get all the right people on the bus.
Yes.
And make sure the bus has fuel and everybody's good and happy inside. And let's.
Yeah.
I'll give us.
Go buy the
I'll give us
nails,
the directions.
Go buy the.
I'll buy. Yeah, that's right. It's like washing dishes. You know.
Yeah.
I don't cook, but I'll wash dishes.
Yeah.
So I'm best in the world at like moving those barrels to that side if you need me to. Anything that's just.
So when y'all put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in here of your own oomph and all your own blood, sweat, and tears. What's the first day? When did y'all first open this spot?
May 13th of 2017.
May 13th, 2017. Okay, so you picked 13 for 13 Stripes. Was that coincidental or
No,
purposeful?
Purposeful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very neat.
Yeah.
What is the first day like? Well, I guess y'all have created a buzz, right? You've created a buzz over the last few years, at least within your friendship circles, right?
Yeah. And so you had asked like what were the steps? You know.
Yeah.
How do we go from?
I know this party guy that threw parties for 3 or 4 years in Orlando probably knows how to drum up a party.
Yeah. And I go back to it's just relational, highly relational, hand to hand.
Yep.
I tell my team, like, we suck at like carpet bombing, right? Like mass marketing. We're terrible at that. We need to get better, but we are the best in the world at doing this.
Yes.
Over and over and over and over and over and over. Now that takes a long time. So we put 5 years of work. Anytime we could, we were schlepping beer all over the state.
So y'all making beer then?
In my garage.
In your garage. Are y'all selling it there, or are you
Nope.
just giving it away to
Giving
people?
it away.
Everybody will have it. Are these friends or other bartenders? Are these anything?
Friends, if you're doing a company Christmas party, we'll show
Get a
up.
half a keg.
You want to do a backyard concert?
Pony keg.
We did backyard concerts. We did barbecues. We did festivals. Dude, it was like.
How are you promoting that kind of area? Is this just hand-to-hand combat still? Like Facebook, Instagram?
Yeah, we started building there too.
Yeah. But mostly this is just your list, your people.
Yep. And then, 5 years of building relationships. And then we got some really amazing press and pieces. It's such a family venture. So it's a fun story. Definitely sort of underdogs and.
Yeah. Are you still working for Pops during this period of time? Or are you just investing and doing this? What's your income? What is your income?
It was real estate.
Your income stream is real estate, managing real estate, or buying and selling real estate?
Just buying and holding, renting.
Buying and holding real estate.
Yeah.
Buying and renting. Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And so, that's my income. I don't think I was doing.
So you had something set up.
Yeah.
You had it set up in such a way during the 2 or 3, 4 years leading up to this opening that allowed you to kind of like fund the fun, I guess.
Yeah, just sort of step over step, and
Yep.
person over person, and drip by drip, and all of a sudden, I mean, that opening day was a dream
What was
come
that day
true.
like? What was that
We
day
had over
like?
5,000 people come out.
Whoa.
I mean, this entire parking lot, it was just a sea of humans. It was a dream come true, and it was crazy. I mean,
Were you expecting
the
that
day,
to happen?
The day
Or what-
before,
what were
I
you-
had a panic attack that I thought I was going to die. Straight up, thought I was, oh my God, like I'm going to die right here, right now.
Were y'all here when this panic attack, or is he at home?
I was at my office that I have with my dad.
Okay.
I was just typing an email. I had gotten poison ivy the weekend before, and I've never been allergic to poison ivy ever in my life. We had some grass put in. I'm watering the grass. It's a beautiful day. I'm just in like jersey shorts, no shirt, nothing. And I just see weeds in the mulch bed. I'm like, huh. So I'm washing dishes. Like I'm just gonna go pick these weeds. And I pick them, and I'm thinking about the million things that I gotta figure out for this. And these piles of weeds, and I scoop them up and I carry them across our yard. We've got a little creek and it's just a ravine. And I just throw them over, like 3 loads. Next day I wake up and if you just Google poison ivy rash, all of a sudden I became allergic to poison ivy. So I didn't even think I was gonna make the grand opening. It was so bad. I go get a cortisone shot, so now I got cortisone, prednisone. I'm not sleeping. We're here, we're making all the taps, I'm drinking beer, I'm drinking coffee. Like, I think all of that and the pressure of the event.
Yes. Oh man.
I'm typing an email, and I just whoop, oh my gosh.
I'm gonna die.
I'm gonna die. I was overwhelmed, and I stood up, and I walked through my office, and thank God my dad was walking out of his office. He's like, you okay? I said, can you grab a water and come meet me outside? And he comes out, he's trying to talk to me. I said, don't talk to me, but don't leave me.
Yeah, I'm about to die.
I'm
just
about to
FYI.
die. I'm in my mind. I can get this, but don't talk to me, but don't leave me. And man, it just beat me down. I had tons of people at my house staying. I called my wife. I said, I just cracked. I just freaking broke. I said, I'm coming home. When I come home, I'm not gonna see anybody. So nobody in my driveway, nobody in my foyer. I'm gonna take the hall to the left. I'm gonna go take a shower and a nap. But I'm not gonna see anybody. I told some guys, I said, hey, I just snapped, pray for me. Like, one of the biggest days of my life tomorrow, and I just broke. And man, I woke up from that nap and I had some just quiet time to think about, and I just, again, trying to control everything. It was supposed to rain the next day. It's a big party. We're prepping for a ton. We got 47 volunteers or something. Like, we're prepping for a big turnout. And I'd poured every drop. We had poured everything we have into this. All of our time, all of our resources, all of our money.
Yeah.
Everything. We're all in. There's nothing more we could have given to make this thing a success. So let it go. I just let it go. Man, I was at such peace after that. Like, just next day, it's starting to like drizzle. I'm like, it's okay. It's okay. Because we've done everything we can do. And the rest is up to God. And
5,000 people show up and
it was packed.
wow.
We were out of money. We did almost 50 grand that day. Literally go from like no money to boop. It was one of the best days of my life.
When we interviewed Lazaro, they did like $37 in sales the first day they opened the Tropical Grill. Yeah.
Whoa.
It's a stark contrast to
$50,000. Oh man.
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
It was crazy. And we're here. We weren't open that Sunday. We were open the next Monday. We're like, I don't know. Do you think anybody's going to show up Monday? I remember sitting right here. We opened at 2 o'clock or something, and then
Poured.
bang.
Bang, bang, bang.
Every day since. Every day since.
Well, cheers.
Cheers, my friend.
Thank you so much for taking your time today and
Oh, man.
sharing this beer with me. and sharing your story with me.
So fun. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.